Today, we're going to talk about the most incredible journey there is. It's the one every single one of us took to get here. It's a story of biology so perfect, it's one of nature's absolute masterpieces. So let's dive right in. Have you ever really stopped to think about it? How you went from a microscopic starting point to you? It's a wild story, and today we're going to follow that exact path, right from the very first spark. You might think our story starts at conception, right? Well, actually, it begins way before that. It starts with the creation of the two absolutely essential building blocks of life. Now, some living things can basically just clone themselves, you know? That's asexual reproduction. But that's not how it works for us. Humans rely on sexual reproduction, which means you need two parents, and each one brings a totally unique set of genes to the table. That genetic variety is the whole reason no two of us are ever exactly alike. Okay, so there's a fancy scientific name for the process of creating these super special cells, sperm and eggs. It's called gametogenesis. And this, right here, is the biological starting line for a brand new person. Let's take a look at how these two crucial cells are actually made. The process for making sperm, which is called spermatogenesis, is really a numbers game. It just churns out millions and millions of tiny sperm. But for the eggs, the process called oogenesis is all about quality over quantity. It puts all of its resources into making one single large egg cell. See? Two totally different game plans, but both aiming for the exact same goal. And when you dig into the details, the differences are just wild. Sperm production kicks off at puberty and then it just keeps going. But the process for making eggs, that actually starts before a female is even born. Then it hits pause for years, sometimes decades. And get this, one round of spermatogenesis makes 4 sperm cells, but oogenesis focuses everything on just one viable egg. Okay, so we've got our 2 key players all ready to go. Now it's time for the main event, the single moment this whole story pivots on, the moment they finally meet. This is the spot, right here, deep inside the fallopian tube, an incredible race is won. Out of millions, just one single sperm makes it through the outer layers of the egg. This is fertilization, the true, official start of a new, unique individual. So what is fertilization, really? It's that exact moment when all the genetic info from the sperm and the egg merges together. They literally fuse to create a brand new, totally unique single cell. And that cell has a name, a zygote. Just let that sink in for a second. This one cell, which is smaller than a grain of sand, has the entire genetic blueprint, all 46 chromosomes, needed to build a whole person. Everything from your eye color to your heart, it's all in there. So we've gone from 2 cells to 1. But how in the world does that single cell, the zygote, start its amazing transformation? The journey is really only just getting started. As it starts traveling down toward the uterus, the zygote begins to divide. And I mean fast. This process is called cleavage. It's just a frenzy of cell division. 1 cell becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, and on it goes. So here's a quick breakdown of that trip. It goes from that 1 zygote cell to 2, then to 4, and so on, until it forms this little solid ball of cells called a morula. Then, a few days later, it develops this little hollow cavity inside. And boom, it's transformed into a structure we call a blastocyst. So after its little road trip, the blastocyst reaches its first major destination, the uterus. Now, this next part is absolutely critical. It has to attach itself to the wall of the uterus. This step is called implantation, and without it, the pregnancy just can't continue. All right, it's successfully docked. Once it's implanted, the really complicated architectural work can begin. That simple little ball of cells starts this incredible process of organizing itself, basically laying down the blueprint for a human body. This is a process called gastrulation. You can think of it like sorting all the cells into 3 master layers, and each layer is giving a very specific to-do list for what's it going to become. And this table just lays it all out so clearly. The outer layer, the ectoderm, that's going to become the nervous system, your skin, eyes, and ears. The middle layer, the mesoderm, builds your skeleton, your muscles, your heart, the whole works. And that inner layer, the endoderm, that creates your internal organs like your lungs and liver. It's just an amazing division of labor. And from those layers, the organs start to form in a process called organogenesis. Just look at the speed of this timeline. The nervous system starts forming in week 3. By week 4, the heart is already beating. It's incredible. And by the end of week 8, All the major structures are there, and we stop calling it an embryo and start calling it a fetus. Now, none of this crazy fast development would even be possible without this amazing organ right here, the placenta. It's basically the fetus's own personal life support system. It connects to the mother to get oxygen and nutrients, and it gets rid of all the waste. It's the unsung hero of this whole story. So after about 9 months, around 40 weeks of this mind-bogglingly complex development, this incredible journey inside the womb finally reaches its grand finale.
The scientific name for it is parturition, but, we all just call it childbirth. It's this super complex event that gets kicked off by a whole bunch of hormones that basically say, okay, the fetus is fully cooked and ready for the outside world.
And birth itself happens in 3 very clear stages. First, dilation, where the cervix opens up. Second, expulsion. That's when powerful contractions push the baby out into the world. And finally, after the baby's born, the placenta is delivered and the process is complete. When you just step back for a second and look at the entire sequence, from those first specialized cells all the way to a newborn baby, it is hard not to just be in complete awe. It really is a masterclass in biological engineering. From a tiny, microscopic start to a monumental transformation, that has been the story of how every single one of us got here. It's a process of just unbelievable complexity and precision. So it makes you think, right? Out of all of that, what part of the journey amazes you the most?